Hi guys, it's Christy here, and I'm going to talk to you about how to handle a struggle. Okay, you can also find this on page 16 of the trainer's manual. All right, so there's one thing I know for sure about success. Where there is success, there was struggle. This is a fact. Nobody made it to the top on a smooth ride. And every single owner, promoting owner, divisional owner, and VP that you know of in this business has gone through a struggle themselves. Okay, so there are a few different types of struggles in this business. Just to mention a few, you can lose people or crews, you can go through money issues, you can have family or friend negatives, you can get negatives on the dialer or in the field, you can suffer, with a lack of belief in the business, you can have conflicts in your crew, you can have to deal, sometimes we have to deal with self-doubt, wanting to quit. There's a whole bunch of different types of struggles in the business, but the reality is that if you are reading about these struggles in the manual, or if you're listening to me talking about these struggles, that means that it's not abnormal. It's in the book. It's not unusual. We've all gone through these struggles, and that's the only way that they actually landed on page 16 of the trainer's manual. The only difference between the successful and the not so successful is how they dealt with the struggles. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a few tips on how to deal with these struggles. So the first one is basically, it's the probably for me the quickest way to get through a struggle is to literally just shift your focus. Shift your focus from the stuff that is draining you to the stuff that is going to fire you up. So why did you come here in the first place? I know we tend to, when we hit a struggle, we tend to forget about why we came here in the first place. You came here because you have a dream. So the best thing you can do when you're in a struggle is get refocused on that. Get refocused on your reason. Get refocused on why you're here. When you're distracted by problems, it means you don't have a goal in mind. How do we know this? Well, because we know that when you're focused on something, you're distracted by nothing. Okay, so a really effective and practical way to get yourself out of a struggle and refocused on the right things is to literally go and redo your dream chart. Literally go and redo your 100 dreams list. And do yourself a favor, when you do your dream chart, put some emotion in it. Get some paint or crayons or Cokeys and spend a few hours drawing life back into your dream. Get some emotion back into it. When you look at that dream, you should actually feel something tugging at your heartstrings. If you apply yourself to this, you should come back with renewed focus and energy. Okay, so the second thing here that you might want to look at is who are you spending your time with? So many times I've witnessed people who in the business where everything just starts to go wrong. Their business starts breaking, their people start to leave, they're battling to drop pieces. And when we go in and inspect as to what's actually happening, 90% of the time, if not more, we find that they're spending their time with someone else in the business who also isn't having a great time, who also isn't necessarily building a business, who also isn't necessarily hitting their pieces goals. The people you spend your time with will influence your results, whether you believe it or not. Assess who you're spending. If you are reading this chapter, it means you're in a struggle. Do yourself a favor and assess who you're spending your time with. And stop spending your time with people that are on the same situation as you, if not worse. Stop spending your time with them and start spending your time with the right kind of people. Spend time with your upline. Spend time with people who are doing well in life and in the business. Guaranteed you'll see a shift just by doing that. The third thing you might want to look at is how much time do you have on your hands and how are you spending it? If you're giving yourself time to think between calls or between pitches, your mind will wander. Generally, not about the good stuff. Stay busy doing constructive things. Stay busy with great working habits. Stay busy with personal development, reflecting and improving. If you're bored, you will find negatives. Guaranteed. If you're bored, you're going to find negatives. Boredom is a negative emotion. Do yourself a favor and jam-pack your day with doing everything you can to move yourself closer to your dream. All right, the fourth thing I want to touch on here is excuses. Probably the most destructive thing you can do. The minute you allow a single excuse into your thinking, you have made it practically impossible to achieve the goal. Excuses are built for one reason: to make it okay not to hit the goal. That is the reason for excuses. Excuses are your justification as to why it's going to be okay that I didn't hit the goal. You make an excuse, your goal is gone. It's easy as that. On the other hand, when you make it a non-negotiable that the goal will be hit, all excuses become null and void and it's done. Okay, and then the last tip for you guys to overcoming a struggle is, if you ever feel like quitting, remember we've all been there. The only difference between those that made it and those that didn't is those that made it, they didn't quit. Okay, everyone goes through a struggle. The amazing thing about this business is that the system is proven to work regardless of the struggle. It's not something you have to figure out for yourself. The struggle is real, but it's also natural. It's normal. Do yourself a favor. If you're planning on making it big in this business and in life, learn to embrace the tough times. It's not the tough times that cause you pain. It's your resistance to the tough times that cause you pain. Embrace them, and instead of them breaking you, they will grow you.